Hi, Professor. It's Gabby, and today I will be talking about how Gladwell's views have to do with the background story between my grandfather's success story. Well, not like success story, but you know what I mean. And my mom. So that's the two people I interviewed. My grandfather is not my mom's father; it's my dad's father. So it's two different sides of the family. And I want to relate to both of their stories. Is like the main point to all this is to understand how very successful people become successful. We have to look outside the person themselves. So I'm going to first start with my mom's story. My mom grew up in Washingtonville, Orange County, so where I grew up in Orange County, but I grew up in Goshen. And she had a very interesting life as a kid. When she was 15, she lost her mom, and it had a really, really big impact on her life, and it changed her in a lot of different ways. At first, she was very, angry and, obviously upset and a very angry person all the time, and she didn't really care what people had to say most of the time, and it changed her completely, not having a mother figure majority of her life. And I feel like that could have a lot to do with somebody's future. If you lose a parent like that, it's like a huge thing. Her father was around. He kind of was so upset about, that whole situation that it was hard for him to be there for her fully too. But he was a great father to her, and he always pushed her, and he loved her, and he always believed that she could do better things because she was the kind of child that grew up in a really harsh household, and her brother never really did much with his life, and he went the wrong route, and my mom is completely different than her entire family. There was a lot of things that she talked about, like external factors that helped her get to her job today, and one of the big ones that I thought was cool was social media. And she has this app called LinkedIn, and basically what she did was she posted these sort of not inspirational but motivating work things to help people with technology businesses. And there were some big creators that were reaching out to her and were like, holy cow, we love what you're writing, let's link up. And she was working for this business called Snappy Kraken, and she wasn't very she wasn't treated how she should have been treated with how talented she is with her profession. The business, my mom works for a business now called Salesforce, and she's a director there. And so basically these big creators on LinkedIn saw her and were like, Salesforce, one of the managers or big people that work in that company, reached out to her and were like, hey, listen, we love how you write, we love how you speak, we think you could really do something really good for this business. And she ended up working there, and she loves it. When she grew up, she had a couple different jobs, retail and all different stuff like that, and she actually worked at a preschool. But it's interesting how each step of the way she's gone up with her jobs. And when she was a teacher, she was in her 30s, so it's it's just interesting to me how she's went from teaching preschool, making very little money, to going to be a director of this huge technology business. She went to school at Mount St. Mary. She went to school in South Carolina too, and she said that she loved it and that it helped her a lot. She really wishes that she stayed at school longer, but she met my father and they got married. Now they're divorced. But moral of the story of her story is her life was very difficult, and I feel a huge thing, she had such great she got a lot of her academic abilities, and she was really, really smart in school because of her mom. Her mom had that, but she didn't really have her mom around, and I feel that could change things a lot for a young girl in their future and what direction they go and how they handle their lives. And I think that she really, really did a good job and really, you know, put her time into things. And a lot of people around her, bigger people, realized that, you know. So yeah, that's a little snippet of my mom's story. And I think that sometimes things come your way that you might not even realize will come your way. Like, you know, hidden advantages, hidden opportunities. And I feel like she had a lot of those. So yeah, that's my mom's story. And the next story I'll talk about is my grandfather's. Okay, so my grandfather's story is really interesting. So my grandfather is 74. He works at a mortgage company. He runs the whole thing. He actually basically built the company. He had no money as a kid. His parents were immigrants. And he dropped out of high school in 9th grade. Never graduated high school. He didn't go to college. He wanted nothing to do with learning. He always, worked and stuff and did all that. But at 28, he was like, I really want to learn how to build a business. I want to learn how to do this. I need to go to school in order to, get the intelligence and smartness behind this to build my own company if that's what I want to do one day. So he also went to Mount St. Mary. He went to FIT. He also went to AMA. I'm not sure what that is. And he went to a bunch of different schools, and he said that he was like a sponge, that he just absorbed so much from the different, things he was learning about business. And I find that so interesting that, at some point, maybe some people, need to do school maybe later on in life in order to take it more seriously, and if that's, what he wanted. So, after all of that, he started reading books, or looking at how Winston Churchill, this is one of the role models he looked up to, and Warren Buffett. He really liked the way both of them thought. And he thinks that there's just he said, this is quote unquote what he said, some men of intelligence. And he really took after what they were saying. He also used to meet with these chief financial book officers, advantage officers, and they would give him tips, and he would pay them, and they would give him tips on how to work, what to do, how to build your own business, what to do here, what to do with the money, how to take risks and all that. And he learned so much from these people. And then finally he freaking felt like he threw everything away, and not threw everything away, but gave all this money up and did all of this stuff to grow the company and, build it himself. And it ended up working out very well. So he was saying too how a lot of different factors that affect him. He said employment numbers affect him. They have to look at the prices of oil, of gold, of consumer confidence, and inflation, and if rates go up, it affects him and his business. And he said during COVID, which was very interesting, is that his business was doing so good. And now he said he hasn't seen it so bad in this long, that his business is not doing good. But so yeah, he talked about a lot of negative things that could go wrong, and how in this blink of an eye something could happen, and it really could ruin a lot of things for him. Another thing that was cool too, he asked this business to sponsor him, and it's $1 billion business, and he was just reached out to them, and he was like, hey, you want to sponsor me? And they were like, yeah, sure. And I just find that so interesting that sometimes if you take chances, there could be an opportunity behind that. And yeah, so at the end of the day, there was a lot of things that he's grown up with, and at first his family didn't want him to do anything with this and build his own business. They didn't want him to take risks or do anything at all, but he did it anyways, and it ended up working out really well for him. So I feel like Gladwell would be really interested by the way they were growing up, and the way both of my grandfather and mother's families grew up, and how different it is to their lives now and where they've made it so far, and it's really impressive to me. So yeah, there's their stories. I hope that was good. It's kind of hard to make a video, but I'll see you soon. Bye.